Well, good morning. Let's just check a couple of things real quick. There we go. Well, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Actually, nobody, but I'm here. What can I say? Ah, it is another day in Angeles City, another day in the Philippines. Paul, past and present in history. Hello, Mike. Paul from Tacoma, Washington until August the 6th. Then it'll be from Angeles City. Well, Paul, let us know when you get in town. That's for sure. Oh, what was that? Did I get? No. Okay. Thought I had a message there. So, what is new? Well, let's see. A couple of different things are new, I guess would be the best way to say it. My daughter was here visiting. I fly her in every summer when she has time off. And this year she brought her boyfriend, oh joy, which was, and I don't mean that sarcastically. Paul, do you want any peanut butter? Nah, Paul, we can get peanut butter. We just pay a little bit for it. It's not worth the wait. The WEIGHT wait. So, good morning, Scott. How you doing? Nice to see you. So, anyways, so we've been gone for the past month, literally. And when I say gone, I mean it's been all family stuff. It's been all trying to get things situated and everything else. Chippy Wisco in Toronto, waiting for my Manila flight. Great, Chippy. I hope you have a great flight, and hope to hear from you or see you. Maybe you'll be in the Angeles area for a little bit. I don't know. But with that being said, yeah, so, taking a month out of YouTube really puts a damper on things. Oh my gosh, Philly in the Philippines is joining us. Good morning, Brian. How's things going down there? I saw your video on the meat store that you guys found. That looks amazing. Even in buying in large bulk that you have to buy in, it still looks amazing. Ricky Last, good morning, Mike. Hey, Ricky, how are you? So anyway, so taking a month off YouTube, it takes a little bit more effort and time to wheel your way back into things. It's been different, that's for sure. So we went, anyway, so being gone for a month. So we were gone for a month. And with that being said, we had not been to Walking Street. And it's been raining for the past week, a good bit, actually. And so had some, one of my buddies that really good friend. I said, hey, I haven't seen you. Let's go out. Let's have dinner and a couple drinks. And Arlene decided that she just didn't want to really go out. And the reason, quite frankly, is Arlen has an issue with rain. It doesn't matter, but the way her Filipino upbringing is that you don't go out in the rain, the first rain of the day, because you'll get sick. And there is actually some legitimacy to that. The scientific background for that is that the pollutants that are in the air actually get knocked out of the air, and those pollutants get on you, or you breathe them in, or whatever, and it can affect you. That's not the legitimacy that Filipinos use, but it is the scientific fact behind it, if you want to call it that. So Arlen decided not to go. So it was just my buddy Eddie and I, because the other folks that we usually go out with weren't available. One just had surgery. And then number two, it's not, and we don't usually go out on a Sunday night, but I hadn't been out in a while, and he suggested Swiss Chalet, and I like going to Swiss Chalet. Swiss Chalet is actually pretty darn good. They have a small salad bar, and it, when you're trying to maintain that intake of green food, all right, vegetables, salad's always a good thing. So we started off at Swiss Chalet last night. Paul Rogers, hi Mike, grabbing a cup of Joe, let the good times roll. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Mike from Mindanao. Good morning, Sonny. How's things down in Mindanao? We'll be down there in August. We have to go down. We have Fiesta in August. So we'll be in Mindanao. And to our house, we have a house down in Mindanao. And we'll be there with family. Arlen's family will be there as well. So anyway, so we went out. And a couple of different things happened. First off, we started off over at Q Bar because we wanted to stop by and see Frank. And so stopped by Q Bar, chatted for a few minutes, and then said, okay. And here's what was weird. So we actually got to Q Bar at like 6:40 or 6:30, 6:45, something like that. And I ordered a Diet Coke. Eddie ordered a drink. And about 10 minutes later, and then Eddie motioned to one of the girls from the stage to come down and join him for a drink. And so about 10 minutes later, the waitress comes up and says, we're having shift change. I need you to bill out. I'm like, well, just carry our bill over. Well, no, So obviously Q Bar is under a different management day shift than night shift. So I knew that in the past, but I never really run into that situation where they were going to go through shift change and we were in the middle of it. So we had to bill out, all right? And then in turn, Eddie had ordered a drink for the girl that he brought down from the stage. And when he did that, they brought the drink. And 5 minutes later, we had to bill out. And then the girl informed him that her shift was going to be over in 10 minutes before she even drank, 2 sips out of her drink. And that's what happened. And it was really left a bad taste in your mouth. I guess you could get a bad taste in your mouth at a bar no matter what. But I felt that was kind of petty, to be honest with you. So, Ricky USA, good morning, Ricky. Nice to see you. So, from Q-Bar, we went down to Carousel, or up, I guess, is the best word to it. So, we went to Carousel, and this was now about 7:15, and I was standing outside chatting to one of the door girls that we know, and Eddie went in and then came back out and said, nah, not here, not tonight. Only 3 girls on stage. Okay, well, no problem, Eddie. We'll go wherever you want to go. It's fine with me. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So from Carousel, we went down, and I said, hey, you know what? Let's stop by Lollipop and talk to Pascal, the manager over at Lollipop. And so we did. We dropped into Lollipop and chatted with Pascal for a minute. And then I ran into a subscriber. And honestly, we started having this conversation about different things. And the next thing I knew, Eddie was like, one and done. We're out of here. Okay. All right. Geez, I didn't even finish my soda. So at that point, we build out. I said goodbye to the subscriber, and we left Lollipop. So from Lollipop, we went to Masquerade. And what can I say? I've never liked the layout of Masquerade as a bar, but their music is often pretty good. Aloha, Welfare Mike, and Food Stamp Arlen. How you doing, AJ? Thanks for making it. Ruby, good day. How are you? So from Masquerade, we decided to then go to Lucifer and Steve. I wanted to drop by and see Noli, the manager at Lucifer, and talk to him about what's going on up and down the street. Well, we went to Lucifer, and at Lucifer, I started to recognize a couple of different things. First off, I didn't realize it, but the guy that is like Noli's second in command and DJ, permanent DJ, has now been given the opportunity, I guess is the best word, to be the manager down at Monsoon. And Monsoon just, I'll tell you, Monsoon never recovered, as far as I'm concerned, from pre-pandemic. It has just never been the same. Once it just hasn't. So I'm hoping to see some significant improvement there. We'll see. So anyways, but here was the next thing that I kind of noticed. Michael McDaniel. Hi, Mike. Hi, Michael. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. So what was interesting at Lucifer, what it dawned on me, I started thinking in the back of my mind for a minute, hey, wait, you know what? I noticed this at Lollipop. I noticed it at Q-Bar. We generally know a good number of the entertainers. And with that being said, and Ruby, I'll get to your question in just a second. With that being said, what we noticed last night was there are a lot of new entertainers. a lot more on a Sunday. I mean, because Sunday is not a um, a popular night. You know, for many of the girls, they have families. Sunday is a family day for them. They spend time with their children, their family, their parents, whatever. Okay. So it's never been a real popular night, but we were surprised then when I looked up on stage at Lucifer, the large number of new girls. And Lucifer, we know the staff very well. We know the door girls, the managers, the supervisors, Noli, the manager, all right, DJ. I mean, we know them all. But anyways, what I did notice is that there are quite a few of them, and a lot of new ones. And then it dawned on me the same thing because I was preoccupied at Lollipop with talking to that subscriber, that there were a good number of girls there I did not recognize. And so I was talking to them, and when I was talking to them, I was asking, how's business been? How are you doing? You making enough money to survive? Well, it's never enough money, obviously. And the girls are always going to say, but a couple of the girls that we know, they're very honest with us, and they'll tell us right off the get-go, yeah, business has been good. I'm doing really well. No, business has not been good. All right. And with that being said, let me just answer a couple of questions here. Out of topic, Ruby asks, Mike, how much does comprehensive insurance for a vehicle in the Philippines cost? Ruby, I don't have that number in front of me. I do believe I've given you the number long ago about what we pay for insurance for both our scooter in the province, our vehicle in the province, and our vehicle here. But I don't have it in front of me, but I will jot it down on a note to be available for the next time that you drop in. I apologize. Ruby then asks, are those new entertainers locals or from the provinces? You know what? We did talk in Lucifer. We kind of attract a plethora of people because they know us and because we're not a threat or anything like that. And it's not a monetary mark. It's just people having fun. We were introduced to a couple of the new girls, and of the three that we were introduced to, two of them were from Samar, and excuse me, and one of them was from Mindanao. In addition to that, of the two that were from Samar, one of them has a sister that's been working at Lucifer since 2019, I think is what she said, pre-pandemic. So, that's how they all get around and everything else, get what they need. In any event, what I was getting at is that, are they, there are a lot of them. There are a large number, and the clubs are not as busy. And what they're all saying is that it's been rain. The rain has been keeping people away. I don't know. When you're here on vacation, when you have a limited amount of time, I don't know that rain's going to keep you away from that agenda of the bars. because your only other option is to sit around in your hotel room or go to the mall or something like that. But AJ's absolutely correct. Maybe the Sunday night girls are the rookie single ones looking for love. Well, they are definitely not so high on the totem pole. The higher on the totem pole you are, the better the off days are for you. Generally, the off days are Monday and Tuesday. Usually, you've got to be reasonably high or productive to get a Sunday off, or either that or they just pay that way. And with that, what happens is that you do get a lot of the newcomers and things like that for Sunday nights. So AJ, yeah, you're right. When fishing new meat always helps. I guess so. Good bait, but then again, you got to have the right bait when you're fishing, don't you? Sonny says he paid $47,000 for 1 year comprehensive liability on a 2024 Nissan Navara. Okay. I don't know what we paid. I really and truly do not remember. I don't want to give you a bad number, but there's one that you can go with. Ruby says, I do hope these girls get financial advice for their future. This profession has its limit. You know what, Ruby? Yes, the profession does have a limit, without a doubt. And no, these girls, to the best of my knowledge, there's no class that they give them or anything like that. If they take it upon themselves to get educated for that, maybe. But, these are not people that are looking, for the most part, long term. Now, we do know one young lady who is very financially savvy and does extremely well, and she does get, but we haven't seen her in I don't know how long, and in turn, she's one of many that don't. Brewmeister, how you doing, Brew? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Bruce, down in Mindanao. How you doing, Bruce? How's your visit going? Roy, Adventures with Roy. Good morning, Roy. How are you? Hey, Roy, how are you liking where you're living? I know that, it's so hard and difficult. Your girlfriend picked it out. Does it work out? Does it meet your expectations? Are you happy with it? Are you happy even with the area? Let us know. Tell us what's going on. For those of you that don't know Roy, Adventures with Roy, Roy is new to the Philippines and new to Angeles City and new to YouTube. And he's documenting his adjustment and his thoughts about the Philippines and Angeles City. Bruce. Mike, did you notice if the Korean bars are full or empty? Well, yeah, sorta. I peeked inside one. It had a plethora of entertainers and not a lot of customers either. And the street just didn't seem that busy. Maybe it was because it was early also. I mean, keep in mind, people need to recognize that we are not out partying our ass off. All right. We're not out hammering down drinks all night long. In fact, we went to see, I met Eddie at 5:30 for dinner, and we had dinner. We stopped and talked to a couple of the managers we know and a bunch of other people that we know. And I had one alcoholic drink last night, and I was home by 9:30. So, I mean, you know, we are not bar hopping alcoholic sociopaths. That's not what we're up to. Chippy says most of them spend the money as soon as they get it. Yes, indeed, they do. Most of them, they spend it or send it home or a combination of both. Ruby says, Mike, maybe when we settle there, we can get the chance to educate some of them who might be interested to learn. It's an interesting concept, Ruby. It would be interesting, and it wouldn't be, it would be a far less threatening and much more accepting that a professional Filipina would be out there willing to help them look at their finances. And we would certainly introduce them to you. That's not a problem. Chippy, that's quite normal for everyone. Spend every dollar they get. Unfortunately, they tend to spend every dollar they get plus more. We used to love Paradise Beer Garden. We heard they moved. Yes, they have moved, and they are now open at their new location. So if you go to the end of Walking Street where McDonald's is, hang a left, and they're about 200 feet down the street. Barry, do you spend much time at the beach diving and scuba? We spend time at the beach. I don't dive anymore. I was a big diver in my 20s and 30s. I kind of waned off of it in my 40s and 50s. And then quite honestly, I started to have neurological issues with my legs due to the diabetes. I quit completely. So I haven't been diving in probably 18, 20 years. But yeah, we spend time at the beach. We just got back from Boracay, where we spent a week at the beach there. Chippy Whiska, Ruby, you are right. So anyways, getting back to this, what we did notice was the number of girls are increasing for quote unquote an unknown reason. And then secondarily to that, the number of people out and about. Oh, and then I had also, I'm probably going to get in trouble. Maybe Arlene's not listening to this, but I don't believe the umbrella I came home with is the same umbrella I went out with. I think they got mixed up and gave me somebody else's umbrella. But then I started to think, what do we see every year in anticipation? Well, you know something? As funny as it sounds, school is right around the corner. So, all right, so school is going to start back here, and at different intervals in different places. But school is right around the corner. And secondarily, the big push, believe it or not, for Christmas will start right around the corner. It'll start in September. So I wonder if we're starting to see that annual winter influx, even though this is probably the worst time of year in Luzon for outdoor activities because it's the rainy season here. I wonder if that's a reason of the large influx. We did run into two girls. I ran into two girls last night that we know, and both of them had just gotten back from the province. They had both been in the province, in their respective province, for the past month. Bruce Chubbs just did a blog on Paradise Garden. Yeah. I'm going to try Saldeco this time last year. I was in Legazpi. Okay. It ought to be, let us know how it goes, Chippy. Ricky, my ex kept getting involved in multi-level marketing schemes. When I explained they're all pyramid schemes, she always believed the sales pitch. You know, there are always going to be people that do that. Ruby, isn't that the sad reality of some expats who didn't plan their retirement? No savings, just living off the minimum Social Security payment. Ruby, I would say yes. Unfortunately, it's hard for me to really comment on that. And I'll tell you why. All the expats that are here that are retired that we know, none of them are living on Social Security alone. None of them. None of them are living on just Social Security and cash savings. All of them planned. All of them have other income besides Social Security. So it's hard for me. I know this sounds terrible to say, but it's so hard for me to relate to that. It really and truly is. I just can't relate to it because I wouldn't think about it. Ruby, especially with most companies cutting pensions. Yeah. Ricky, that's the mentality of quick money, which people get tricked into believing. Hoppa makes this is a good step. Look at what happened with Jules. It's a prime example of shit hitting the fan per se. Yes. I don't know Jules. I never followed Jules. I only have caught a couple of videos since I was told what was going on. So I just don't know anything else about him. Roy says it's good. And I had asked Roy how he likes where he's at. It's good, but we are researching and looking for a condo apartment. Has to make sense for my girlfriend's travel to her job. Yeah, of course it does, Roy. Absolutely. You've got to, it's got to work for both of you. That's for sure. Roy, are you going to be coming to the meet and greet that Chubbs and CJ are putting on the 4th? Hoppa, true, the sad reality of what can happen. Yes, it is. Chris in August. No, that's in September, the Burr months. So Philippines starts decorating and thinking about Christmas in the Burr months, September, October, November, December. All right. And you'll start to see city decorations, Christmas decorations they'll start ramping them up in September. By mid-October, you'll see some Halloween stuff and you'll see Christmas stuff. Ricky, same as Jutang and Stiel. I'm not sure what that is, AJ. Paul S. I planned, but 2 X's later, I will be living off my Social Security disability when I am there. Well, Paul, we wish you the very, very best of luck. That's for sure. Be, you know, well, I just wish you the best of luck. I really and truly do. And I'm not saying that people don't. There are plenty of people that do, but we don't have experience with those people. We don't know them. That we're not, I'm aware of all of our friends' finances to a certain extent. I mean, everybody's finances are private, but I'm just not aware of that situation. Mike, you'll be a target for trolls because you live at Ivory Tower and holidaying and 5-star. I don't give it. Ruby, I really don't care. Something? That's why we call it our Philippine journey. We don't call it the Walking Street Chronicles. We don't call it the Bar Hop Chronicles. We don't call it the Angeles City blog. It's Arlen and I's life, what we do. And we're different just like everybody else is different. We planned, and that's where we're at. And if people don't like it, well, they can deal with it. I mean, it's kind of funny. I've never put down anybody who lived on a strict lower end budget. Why would people put down somebody that lives on a strict higher end budget? I mean, people tend to realize Arlen and I do have a budget. But we look at a budget from a corporate point of view, we run our finances like a corporation. All right. We save money. We put money away. We invest money and we use money. So, for us, it's not a simple get a check and this is what I've got. But that's just us. And it doesn't make us any better than anybody else. That's for sure. Because we're not. Philly says a person could live on Social Security in the Philippines. It all depends on where you live in the Philippines. Yes, you can. And how much it is. I mean, you couldn't live. I think you'd be hard pressed to live on my mom's Social Security. My mother only gets $800 a month from Social Security. And my mom's old and she didn't work, 60 years of her life. On another note, the amount of baggage Filipinos bring to the airport is insane. Chippy, it is insane. In fact, it is incredibly insane. And I have yet to figure it out. I really and truly don't. I have seen, especially on international flights, my God. But even the local flights, let me tell you, they will bring a ton of baggage. STL is small town lottery. Okay. Hoppa, STL is small town lottery, usually under the umbrella of the mayor. Okay. All right. I understand that. I know that in the province in Mindanao, they have these little, 3-number lottery bets and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe that's what that is. Pee Wee Barnes. How you doing, Pee Wee? I agree you need multiple accounts and sources of income. You need both local and foreign accounts, dollar and peso. Yes. We did an entire video on banking here in the Philippines and how we bank. So, absolutely, a dollar account and a peso account, and we have accounts back in the U.S. and other places as well. Jiting is similar to STL. Okay, so same thing as small town lottery. Dano, how you doing? How you feeling? Hope things are getting better. Dano's somebody that lives in the neighborhood. When they live, he and his wife have a place up here in Angeles or near Angeles as well. Paul S. As of right now, I live in one of the highest tax states. As of now, after I pay everything, I live on $350 per month here. I think I can do a lot better there. Wow, Paul. I don't know where you live in the U.S. on $350 a month. Wow, that's pretty you know what? That takes a fiscally responsible individual for sure. More power to you. Barry, do you ever see yourself living another place than the Philippines? No, I see myself dying here. I really and truly do. Arlene's family is not going to go away, and Arlene wants to be around her family. My daughter is happy to visit every year. I don't see myself moving anywhere else. I mean, obviously there are issues. I mean, if China invades, yeah, sure. The ocean rises 50 feet. That's I don't know. You know what? If the ocean rose 30 feet, that would create a incredible amount of new beachfront property. That might be the time to actually stay and buy. Or I couldn't buy, but Arlen could. Hapa, Ruby, I've known expats who have speeded up their path to the grave because they don't have a hobby to keep them busy, so they drink and smoke themselves to an early grave. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Dano, nobody's finances are the same. That's the truth. You know what? Two people could receive the same amount of money monthly and will spend it differently. It is, and two people could have the same job for 20 years, being paid the same thing for 20 years, and they would have saved or done differently. So sure, I mean, Dano's absolutely correct. People are duct taping boxes in the line. Yeah, my daughter went through that. So my daughter, we were so looking forward to not having to deal with Manila Airport with Naya for my daughter's flight home, because Clark is so easy, so fast, everything. So we couldn't go in. So we dropped my daughter off and her boyfriend. And they're all, paperwork's ready, good to go. Well, apparently there was a group of Filipinos going to Taiwan because the flight that they were on, my daughter was on, went from Manila to Taipei to San Francisco. And literally totally unprepared. Their paperwork was disorganized. Everything was wrong. Every one of them was overweight. They were tearing people's stuff apart and packing stuff back and forth between different suitcases and boxes. And, it took my daughter an hour and 15 minutes to check in. And she was through immigration and security in 10 minutes. But you still gotta love Clark. I mean, you gotta, what a great situation. Western Washington State. Gosh, even Washington State, I can't see being so inexpensive. Paul, I know you're not living in Hawaii. Mike is so rich he has bank accounts in Switzerland and the Cayman. I do not. I do not have bank accounts in Switzerland, and I do not have a bank account in the Cayman. Although I did look at the Cayman years ago. Sacramento, Monday through Thursday, 110 or higher. Wow. Tuesday be 112. Your daughter better make sure aircon's working. You know what, Brian? She's going to be down at her mom's. And I don't know if she's going to be in Sacramento that whole week or whether she's visiting one of her friends elsewhere around there. I mean, she's saying all of her goodbyes. They're already moving stuff to her new location. AJ, so true. There's no way I could live on what I get where you are. Wow. No. Remember, it's not the income you get, but the amount of savings you do after each payday. And Ruby's correct. It's what you do with that income. Book of Dano, Philippines, shout out. Philly shouts right back. Paulus, I'm living in the northwestern portion of Pangasinan, close to La Union. Yep. Is Clark, though, more expensive compared to Manila? To the airport to route your way through Clark? It can be, but it's mice nuts. I mean, in comparison, what you're going to pay to get to Manila, unless you take the bus, what you're going to deal with in time. I mean, time is money. The one thing you can't buy in life, or one of the few things you can't buy in life, is time. Time, we literally give ourselves 5 hours from Angeles to the gate for a domestic flight out of Clark. Here, an hour and 20 minutes. Barry says, when I was in the Navy, we had a huge base in Olongapo. The Navy moved back. No, it has not moved back officially. It does not have a base anymore. It hasn't had a base since, I think it's 91 or something like that. I can't remember, but no. They're Brian in the chat proving he's still living in AC. Nah. You busted me. Mike, very impressive political live. Very well done. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. You know what? I just felt it needed to be said. I mean, how that debate and how the future president is going to impact relations with Asia. That's going to be an interesting situation, I think. I really and truly do. I think the debate was a debacle. I think the whole thing was just a disaster. When I return to the USA later this month, I'll be flying out of Clark. Hey, Bruce, let us know how that goes. And what airline are you going to be flying on out of Clark, if you don't mind me asking? Paul S., you could live on the $350 a month in the Philippines as long as you don't have to pay for visa extensions, flights out back in every so often. You could stay permanently. I don't know. You know what? I tend to say, again, I go back to saying it's so foreign to me. It is. But I know that there are people that say they do it. I know that there are people who intend to do it. I know, all the things that go along with that. Ruby says last trip in March, it only took 2 hours from Candy to Naya 1. Yeah, that's to Ruby then you got to get your check-in, security, immigration, and everything else and get to the gate. And that's another 2 hours. Ed Philly, how's your Starlink working in your area during the cloudy or rainy days? I would think it still works. I guess, doesn't it depend? I don't know, Brian. Is it really a variation based on how thick or dense the cloud coverage is? The thicker the storm, the heavier the storm, the slower it gets. I thought it was awesome to get a perspective of our USA men and women living abroad on the presidential exchange. Well, wait, Kevin, I thought it was awesome to get perspective of our USA men and women living abroad. I'm not sure I understand, Kevin. It'd be a rough life, Mike says. Arstel, how are you? Good to see you. My father and sisters flew to the U.S. from Clark. They'll be flying back at the end of the month to Clark. There you go. It's nice. Starlink works great in the province on cloudy days and hard rain. It buffers if you're watching a movie. I could put up with that to have reliable internet that works 80% of the time superbly. Michael, my plan is to live off of about $1,200, and I know that will be coming in under that for rent, power, water, phone, internet, and food. There you go. A lot of people live here for $1,000 and up. So I mean, I think it's very possible, Paul, and a big part of that has to deal with what is acceptable to you. Ruby, it depends, though. Sometimes 4 to 5 hours to San Fernando, not even Angeles. I have seen once where it was 3 hours just from Naya to San Fernando. We did go through that once. There you go. From Clark to Seoul, and then Seoul to a lot of cities in the U.S. Seoul flies directly to Minneapolis, Detroit, DFW. Yep. And that would be what? Korean Airlines? There you go. I'll be flying out on Emirates on July 25th. Stop over in Dubai on the way to Orlando. Yeah. Nice. Nice. AJ, what if you're only using the Wi-Fi connection for social media? I thought it was great to hear your thoughts. Omar Ace was in the room, and maybe some of the others that gave their thoughts on the debate. Yeah, I thought, I think that expats should at least take an active interest in how the future is going to be shaped here or wherever they are by the next by the next president and their system. Brian says, I'm 66, retired, and I see civil unrest in the United States for the next 10 years. To a certain extent, Brian, I think there's already some civil unrest, but I don't see it to be horrible. And, we look at the examples of civil unrest in other countries and the examples of civil unrest historically. I think the U.S. is much different than the countries that we currently see it in. And secondly, historically, the United States and the rest of the world are in a different age than what's in the past. I mean, you can talk about civil unrest in the U.S., but you better be careful because in the U.S., everybody owns at least one gun. And when people start threatening your property, I don't know how many people it's going to take to get shot before people decide civil unrest may not be a viable option. I could make it on $1,000 as long as I got it every week. Here you go, Bruce. Excuse me. HA works fine, just connected to the internet and surfing. Most bloggers stay away from, Kevin says, most bloggers stay away from politics and religion and agree it's so touchy that they should, but this was great to hear from you on it. You know, Kevin, I think the reason is because we don't do it for a living. So our subscriber base, they either like what we do or they don't. And we can't change what we do because you're not paying me to change what I do. There's nothing in it for me to change. Now, if my wife said for me to change, sure, I would. If my daughter said for me to change, sure, I would. But as much as I respect our subscribers, you kind of get what you get and you don't throw a fit. That's what my daughter came home from kindergarten with one day, many years ago. You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Watching and listening from New York, Cubao, Quezon City. Okay, Question City. How you doing, Job? Hope you're having a great day. Yes, Korean Airlines. And Korean Airlines is a great airline. They're nice to fly. They really are. Scamper S, get a girlfriend partner with her own house. Why? I mean, certainly that's one way, but I wouldn't base my future on somebody else's materialistic endeavors. I mean, that's like saying in the U.S., don't date a girl unless she has her own house. What would be the difference between in the U.S. and in here, Scamper? I mean, I do understand where you're coming from. I do recognize that shows responsibility. It shows thinking of a future. There definitely a lot of positive points to that. Brian, your thoughts briefly on it, as I heard on Lot's channel that you was upstairs watching it. Just nominate Adrian, the t-shirt guy, as ambassador. Adrian's a character. I'm all for that. Adrian for president. He's got an amazing memory. One thing, Michael says, one thing Americans have a hard time understanding is the electoral college versus the popular vote. It's really difficult for foreigners to understand. You should do a lesson video or blog. Mike, I would, but it's, something, Michael? I could and I would, and it would end up just like my Borkai videos. Not interested. People don't watch it. The effort that we put in to the videos in Borkai, people just don't watch it. They don't give a shit. They want to see drama, sex, or violence. That's what people want. This is the vast majority. You have other people that are far more interested in other things, for sure. But, good morning, Henry. Even Americans don't fully understand it. That's true. How is China Air? Don't know, never flown them. Anybody ever flown China Air? Oh, Chippy says China Air is terrible in his opinion. Okay, there you go. And Chippy's pretty smart guy. All right. Jabez, thank you, bro. Your line of greetings. Yes. Oh, you're welcome, John. AJ, you're correct. So I tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to post the link. Boom. There you go. There's the link to the room. If you would like to discuss something or talk about something or have something you'd like to get off your mind, hey, join the channel and we'll put you up on the panel. Now, keep in mind, we do have some rules, and that would be just like this. Excessive trolling. Oh, that's off center. Excessive trolling with unsupported statements get you in timeout. With few exceptions, you must show your face. You're welcome to your opinion, but try to express it in a mature manner. YouTube and our channel are not a democracy. Free speech is not guaranteed. We do have limits. And finally, we don't want to see people talking about people's kids, parents, or their families. DM says China Air is the worst. I've never flown them. EVA Air Asiana Airline, EVA Airline, Asiana Air, All Nippon Air are all good. Yes, and I have flown all of them. And Michael, you're right. And you know, I haven't been able to coordinate a EVA flight in years, but I always liked them. EVA seemed to be the cheapest for me from Chicago every time. Yeah, I know, AJ. It is spelled correctly. There is a typo. Here's what I would say. I put that typo in intentionally to see who would catch it. Would people that can tell me who the English majors are? Yeah, that'd be bullshit. It was a typo, and you're absolutely correct. And when I get a chance, I will go back and fix it. Chippy says, Michael, yes, also JAL and Asiana are good. Yeah, JAL's good too. Henry says, I may ask, when you got there for the first time, is it okay to gargle with water from the faucet? You know, Henry, I am not an epidemiologist. I am not a communicable disease expert. I would say, why bother as cheap as bottled water is? I mean, bottled water is cheap. I don't know. If you have a weak immune system and a weak stomach, you might want to reconsider it. If you're here just on vacation and for a limited amount of time, you don't want to end up in the bathroom for half of it. Why take the risk? Hoppa says, so far, my go-to airline's always Korean Air. Great food choices and cleanest bathrooms. Yeah. I've flown Korean Air. I've only flown them once. But, but they're a great airline. CB, California Bear, how you doing? Yeah. All right. Remove, don't trust the water. Yep. Epidemiologist, spell check. There you go. Philly's, I'm still working on my first pot of coffee this morning. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, filtered water's cheap enough, Henry. There's no need to risk anything when you're here. I mean, if you're going to be here to visit, you know, then hey, why risk your visit? I ask that because when I shower, I can't stop water going inside my mouth. Well, you know what? There are going to be some things that you just can't deal with. Okay? Some things just happen. Make sure you keep, bring some Imodium with you. Paul says, I'm going to try and change my flight. I'd like to bypass LAX. Yeah, I've never been a fan of LAX. I've had to go through it so many times. But Elvis, smashing the like button. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you. 25 pesos for the water jug containers. There you go. Kevin says, will the Koreans buy Louis Grand as it's on the market now? As the rumor is they're buying Envy. You know what, Kevin? I don't know. I really do not know. Is it possible? Sure. And I really, Kevin, I'll be honest with you. First off, the rumor is they're looking at Envy. The rumor is also that everybody's looking at Envy. Until it gets sold or taken over, nobody knows. But I mean, I don't see the big deal in it. People get their panties in a wad about the Koreans. So what? The Chinese were doing it years ago. The Koreans are doing it now. Shit, might be the Hungarians in the next 10 years. I don't know. All I know is my money spends fine. My wife is happy. And I can do the shopping I need to do. And that's all I really care about. But I don't know if they will. I saw it was for sale for $16 million US. Henry says, no, I want to retire there. Well, then, Henry, you know what? Then slowly integrate your way into the water system. Henry, my first time I drank the tap water in the coffee, my wife gave me, not knowing her mom did not use bottled water for hot water. I got a bacterial infection, sores my mouth. Took a trip to the ER. Wow. That's nasty, Michael. CBGB, I've heard the small worms in the tap water. Is this really true? I don't know. I've never seen it, but everywhere we go is filtered. The water at Candy Palace is filtered, although it's not osmosis, okay? But it is filtered, all right? The water in several of the restaurants that we routinely go to is filtered, all right? We use the tap water here to make coffee and anything that we're going to boil. And I've never seen a worm. So that's the best I can give you. How do Koreans buy property if Americans can't? They can't buy it. All right. People say, oh, they're going to buy this. They may be buying the business of Envy, but they can't buy the property unless they have a foreigner. They have to have a Filipino owning 60% of the corporation, or in the instance of Envy, it wouldn't work. It has to fit in the Foreign Investment Act of 2022. Restaurant bars do not fit in that. I just got over my first cold. First time in my life I had a cold in the heart of summer. My doc in Cleveland gave me a bottle of antibiotics before I moved here. Used them all. Now what? You can get more antibiotics at the without a prescription. But if you've got a bottle of them, save the bottle. Take that with you to the pharmacy and show it to them. They'll match it up as best they can. You'll slowly get used to the water system, and we use Nawasa for washing dishes and laundry, showering, and other than drinking it outright. We drink water delivered. Exactly. That's exactly where we are, AJ. We use the water here at Candy Palace in our washing machine. We wash our clothes. We wash our dishes. We shower. All of it with that. I flew Flying Tiger Airline in 1986 from Los Angeles to Clark Air Base when I got stationed. Wow. Flying Tigers. I don't even remember when they quit operating. It's been a long time. Ricky, I've been to Angeles 16 times, never had a problem with any Koreans. Yeah. I don't like some of their personal habits. Okay. But that's a cultural issue, not a personal issue. I just can't give you a better perspective than that. I've never had a problem. I have never had a problem with a Korean in public or in private. Really can't. Great channel. Keep up the great work. I learn a lot from you. Well, thank you, Ron. Thank you so very much. That's what we're here for. We're here to share our life, and hopefully it brings you a little kernel of information or a nugget of information. Mike Maslan, is the ice in most clubs okay? I drink the ice in all the clubs and have never had a problem ever. So, yeah. Scamper says, yeah, it shows that she's responsible, house and job. Also shows that if she's interested in you. Holy likely she's not just after the money. Yeah. We use it for coffee since it's boiled and we have no issues with ours. Yes, AJ, I use tap water for coffee all the time. Drinking water, I've never had stomach issues, but drinking Red Horse, yeah, that'll do it. Red Horse may give you far more problems than the tap water will. That's for sure. I'll take my chances eating at the mall, food court, or coffee shops in the mall. I'll never eat anything with ice and water in it from a street vendor. No. I would not eat. I would not drink anything with ice or water from a street vendor. Brian says FedEx bought out Flying Tigers 1989. Wow. AJ says most Koreans will leave you alone and not seek trouble with anyone. Sure. Dano's right, though. Dano's absolutely correct. That was really one-sided of me, wasn't it? Yeah, there are plenty of expats that have habits that are less than admirable, for sure. He's right. Can you get a hot fudge sundae at Candy Towers? I do not know. I can get a banana split at Candy Palace. I assume you could at Candy Towers. I know you can. I know. I don't know for sure, Kevin. I know that the banana split comes with chocolate syrup on it. Arlen and I split one every now and then. So I would think you can get something if you can't get a hot fudge but it's hot fudge. You know what? Kevin, I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've seen hot fudge at Palace before. Henry says, never drink Red Horse if you didn't have breakfast yet. Yeah, I would not suggest that either. I've been here 13 years. My immune system is adapted to the Philippines already. Yeah. The longer you're here, the more time you have for it to to adapt. There you go. Says, I get my statins refilled at Mercury Drug. No problems. Yeah. Mercury, Watson's, the generic pharmacy, they'll all do it. I was excited to find a Jamaican patty place in the SM basement. After a few hours, I was cursing it. I bet, Chippy. Banana Split Philippines has the best when it comes to that. Yeah, I've not heard of others getting hot Sundays in the Philippines. I know a bunch of Filipinos who start their day off with Red Horse. There are quite a few. Paul, how is things going, Paul? Moving to Texas this week, hotter than hell there. Paul, how is your health doing otherwise? All right. Mike, I think you need to make a difference on tap water at an apartment building versus tap water in the province, small town. Yeah. Now, Michael's got a very valid point. All right. In the province, in a small town, in a typical, if you are getting straight city water, I wouldn't drink it. Okay? It's just that simple. I just wouldn't do it. And it's not so much that the water isn't good when it is at the distribution center, but if you've ever looked at the plumbing systems and the water systems in cities and towns, they're full of leaks, which, granted, is going out. The problem is they don't keep the water pressures up, so the pipes get infiltrated with all kinds of crap. I would be very hard pressed for that. Michael's absolutely correct. I have an eyelash in that eye. So, all right, let's put this back up again. If you would like to cam up, tell us a little bit about what's going on and deal with or what you're dealing with or questions or anything, feel free. AJ says the water in our town is through a filtration system, so we're good. How's the delivery system, though, AJ? I mean, I can tell you in Arlen's town, the delivery system is abysmal. Abysmal. I mean, they only have water pressure a few hours during the day. So every leak there then becomes a point where something can get in. There you go, says, I grew up eating expired food back in the 60s, 70s. I have a cast iron stomach. Soon to travel to what is considered the province area. Should be a good test. You don't need to experiment, all right? You really and truly don't. You could still do well. There's no need to take a chance. That's for sure. No need to take a chance at all. All right, then. Well, we've got nobody that wants to. Oh, let's see here. Ruby, a lot of the existing pipelines in the Philippines are old and possibly rusty, so they'll be contaminated in some form. Yeah. A lot of the existing water lines leak. They have access to the surrounding dirt, which allows when it's the sufficient pressure can't stop the groundwater from seeping in with pollutants. It can all be a form of contamination. But you kind of get used to it after a while. Isn't that a terrible thing to say? I guess. Or I would think it's a terrible thing to say. So, Ruby, when are you guys coming back? You're due. You guys are due. Ruby and her husband from Australia, they're due another visit here pretty soon. Speaking of water, here in Angeles, the pipe to the washer has to be cleaned periodically because the water is trickling out. Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with calcium buildup, stuff like that, and grit and dirt. AJ says the town's water department has a few crews that goes around town to work on the trouble spots to repair it. That's nice. That's really nice, AJ. Very few food are really expired. They usually just best by date. Many good for a long time past that date. Only have dates at all because the laws say, yeah, and Bruce is correct. I once have a friend who drank Red Horse. He didn't have breakfast. I was looking for him to hang out with, but he was with our friend and found him at his place nonstop vomiting. You shouldn't drink beer for breakfast. That's part of the problem. Anyone have the flying water bug problem? I don't think I've ever seen a flying water bug here. Have you seen one? We'll be there in October. I'll need to organize a booking with Candy again. Yep. We like it, Ruby. They've always treated us well. In our town, the water delivery system was installed the year before COVID. Wow, it's really new. 5 years old, yeah. Michael says, in my town, my wife is from the water lines run above ground in the drainage ditch next to the. In the town my wife is from, the water lines run above ground in the drainage ditch next to the road. That's the way it is in the province and where Arlene's from. A lot of the water runs above ground. The older system. Now they're slowly replacing it by putting it underground. Hey, George, how are you? I draw the line at 5 years past the expiration dates for canned food. Yeah, I would think that'd be a problem. I don't know, though. I think Twinkies are good forever. All right? I really do. Let's see here. Yes. Okay, so I also want to remind everybody that, let's see here. Today is Monday the 1st. So July 4th, June, I'm looking at the wrong month. August, July, there we go. So today is Monday the 1st. Thursday, July 4th. Okay? Thursday, July 4th is going to be a YouTuber meet and greet at Candy Palace. So if you, there'll be some YouTubers there. I know that Chubbs WC is coming. CJ Abroad is coming. Arlene and I will be there. And I know that others as well. So if you'd like to meet us in person, or if you're a YouTuber and you'd like to attend, so Roy, if you're still out there, feel free to come. It's going to be July 4th from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. All right. And then 5 years, no beer for breakfast. What kind of channel is this? 5 years in remission from stage 4. You're still hanging in there, Paul. That's great. That is great. It's so good to hear. They've dug up some MREs from the war and found they were still good. Yep. Henry says he took him home in a bicycle. If I didn't took him home, his mom thanked me after years because I was there when he almost died. Wow. Found out yesterday my wife has, I am so sorry, George. George, I am sorry. My thoughts go out, but that's not a endpoint. It's time to get some expert medical opinion and aggressive, immediate attention. Past and present, maybe I'll try to cam up. Paul, I'm getting ready to head out. Arlene sent me a message a minute ago. I've got to get some stuff done. Ricky, I just ate a can of peas with a Best Buy date of 2014. Even the regular guy was supposed to show up. I don't know, Bruce. Is he really? That'll be interesting. Some Filipinos cannot function properly without a red horse to start their day. Ants love Twinkies here. I literally bought $1.20. Yeah. Look, if you keep sweets in your place, unless there's an aggressive ant and pest control service, you will have a problem. That's the definition of an alcoholic. Yep. Okay, folks. All right. I have to run. I have some things I have to get done today. I certainly appreciate it. Arlene and I really do appreciate each and every one of us, one of you as subscribers and as participants in our community. We thank you for your support by being a subscriber, and we really appreciate it. We hope all of you have a great day. Be safe, and we'll talk to you at our next live. Thanks. Bye.